Now, the good news is if you don't support Biden's push to use your money to pay someone's loans, then you can say something about it to Joe Biden himself. The Heritage Foundation has launched a portal for voters to weigh in. Anyone can go here and submit a public comment to help build a legal challenge against this after the Biden administration announced that they will be taking public comments for 30 days. So take advantage of it, perhaps. Joining us right now to discuss this is the executive director of Heritage Action, president of the Centennial Action Fund, Jessica Anderson. Jessica, what kind of responses are you getting on this portal, this website? What are people saying about Biden's student loan bailout?
Well, thanks so much for having me today and frankly to shedding light on this incredibly important issue of the Biden administration essentially trying to buy votes before the midterm election when he released this bailout of student loans. And so after the release, then comes the actual regulatory period, which is what we're in right now until February 10th, where American citizens all across the country can drop in their displeasure for this partisan buyout on and through the comment portal. And what we're seeing so far is that Americans, whether they're college educated or not, they know that this is a gimmick. They know that this is a political hack to try to steal votes, and that this is not actually about supporting or reforming higher ed, which is something that this country so desperately needs. And so the response so far has been really encouraging to see people tell their stories about how they themselves worked through college, that they took out loans and they paid off the loans through hard work, through grit, through American ingenuity. And that's exactly what we want to do through this portal until the comment period closes on February 10th.
Do people feel duped by this administration, Jessica? I hear this from a few people, from people around the country, that essentially Biden, like you said, was buying votes for the midterms. He didn't mean anything he was saying. He knows that he can't cancel student loan debt and just wipe it away with a magic wand. He knows he can't do that, but he said he could so that people would vote for him, and now that and vote for his candidates now that he's across the finish line. Is he just going to ignore it and let it go away? What do you see happening from here?
Well, he actually can't ignore it because there's this tricky thing called the Supreme Court. And so not only is the comment portal open and people can push back on the regulations, but now the court has found itself needing to decide the legality of this bailout. And the Supreme Court next is going to actually start hearing arguments from the various lawsuits that have found standing to push back and provide a legal pushback against this bailout that we know is not predicated on anything other than political posturing. And so while Biden, I'm sure, would love for this to go away and for it not to be a problem that carries into the 2024 presidential cycle, the truth is that the Supreme Court will now start their process in earnest later this spring, first hearing oral arguments, then deciding the case. And so we're going to be talking about student loans for a very long time, despite Biden's displeasure.
Well, Biden needs all the help he can get if he wants to run again for 2024, especially considering the classified document scandal. He better hope the Supreme Court decision goes his way. We certainly hope it does not, which is why I'm glad we have people like you, Jessica, and Heritage Action pushing back on this, giving the public a voice in this, bolstering their voice. Thank you so much for joining the show today and explaining this.
Thanks for having me.